87% of realtors that get into the business get out of the business after 2 years. That does not exist in our world.
We have massive visions around growing our businesses, and we are always looking to add talent to our world. We do everything in our power to ensure the people we surround ourselves with defy the odds, get into production, and build massive lives for themselves.
We have interviewed some of the top realtors in the world. If you're a new realtor, a top producer, or CEO of a mega team, Sales Beast Podcast is your blueprint for success.
With locations all across Canada, reach out to us to talk about partnership and opportunities. We are looking forward to it.
Hey guys, thanks everyone for joining. I know it's midday and you guys are probably all busy booking appointments. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with me. So yeah, my goal for today is to add as much value to you guys as possible. I know the focus on the presentation is on booking appointments, but I'm really, I can take this anywhere you guys want. I'm here for you. So before I get into it, is there anything you guys want me to cover specifically?
Appointments on appointments on appointments and how to get more appointments.
Okay, perfect. Anything else?
And where to prospect to get that.
Where to prospect? Okay, perfect.
I think also, Mike, I know you're big with the cold calling type stuff as well, but also I think prospecting our current database as well for more appointments also.
Okay, who's saying that? I didn't see. Brian, you'll be very proud of me. You know, I haven't picked up a Mojo dialer for about 2 years.
What's that?
I said, you know, I haven't picked up a Mojo dialer for about 2 years.
My man, you make me sleep better at night now.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I've grown up. I still love the thing. I'm tempted to dive in there every once in a while, but I resist.
You're tempted, and I get sweaty palms and anxiety because of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Anything else? If nothing else, I'll dive into it. If there's anything else, let me know.
I think also, Mike, I know that there were some points that you guys had put on the Eventbrite page, but I think if you guys can also provide kind of like what you do for your follow-up strategy.
Okay.
You know, we all know it's one thing to get a lead, but to stay consistent in the follow-up to move them from a lead to an actual met appointment is also important.
Okay, perfect. All right, sounds good. So let's get into it. This is me. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm not from here originally. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I moved up here, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago to go to school. Got a corporate job, realized it wasn't really my thing. Met an awesome guy named Sandy Mackay, who was my realtor, and I decided to go work with him. So here I am. So at this point, I'm about, I would say, 6 years into the business today. No longer am I a realtor on Sandy's team. I own the business with him today. Not really in production, but I still do hit the phones every single day. I book appointments every single day. And I go on appointments that I book myself with agents on our team. I also accompany them on some of their appointments. So at this point in my career, I would say I'm probably on 4 or 5 listing appointments a week. And with the help of the agents on our team, I'm there for 2 to 3 signed every single week, I would say. Yeah, everything I'm going to teach you today is from the perspective of someone that knew absolutely nobody when they moved to the city they're in. So I today live in Hamilton, Ontario. When I first got in the business, I lived in Toronto. I would commute back and forth every single day. But I'm not kidding when I say the only person I knew from this city was the realtor who I was working for at the time. So everything was built from scratch about 6 years ago today. Yeah, so the reason I put this slide in, I think is super important. Mindset, 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 mindset. You probably hear it all the time. You might be sick of hearing about it. The reason I say it's important is because I get asked every day from realtors on our team or realtors in the city in which I operate, Mike, how do you convert a stranger within an hour? How do you move them from a stranger into a client? Mike, what script do I use to take my average commission on the listing side from 4 to 5 to 6. Mike, what script do I use on the phone to book more appointments? And my response to them is the scripts mean absolutely nothing if you don't have the right mindset. The reason I know they mean absolutely nothing if you don't have the right mindset is because I've been doing this for 6 years, and I've used the exact same script as Agent X, and I can book with that script an appointment a day, and Agent X will book an appointment a week. So there's got to be something to it that's not just the words that are coming out of your mouth. And I think a big part of that is the mindset. So a lot of people don't want to go here. Everyone wants the big business where they make $500,000, $1 million a year. A lot of people aren't willing to do the grunt work that's required to get there. I can share with you guys what I do. I don't think there's a one size fits all when it comes to building your mindset, building your routine. My routine isn't for everyone. It's built around my children. They're the only reason I do what I do. My goal is to get it out of the way so I can be with them as much as possible. If I didn't have children, I would 100% not run this routine. So I'll share with you guys what I did this morning, and I'll give you some insight into why I did that. So alarm goes off at 3:45, out of bed by 4, get in the car, drive to the gym. I'm normally there by about 4:15. It's a 15-20 minute drive. So when I'm in the car, I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook. I'll explain to you the reason I do that. When I wake up at 4 a.m., I'm an asshole. I'm not a happy person. I think a lot of you on this call wouldn't be happy either if you were up at 4 a.m. So my hack to overcome that is to plug into someone that either wrote a book or did a podcast. My assumption is they did that book or podcast not at 4 a.m., but at 4 p.m. when they were in a good state of mind. And I choose to listen to people that are where I want to be. So I choose to listen to people that have already built the big business. They're generally speaking not my age. They're normally 45, 55, 65 years old with a hundreds, 200, 300 million dollar net worth. So rather than listening to my own negativity in the morning, I am choosing to listen to someone else that is where I want to be in the future. That's really changed my life in a big way. I always knew learning was important. What I found with myself, I went to school twice. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. I did a business degree, and then I went back and did a master's in business. I didn't get a whole lot out of it, but I was forced to study when I was there. And when I graduated, the learning stopped. For about a year, I stopped learning. Fortunately, I fell in love with the process of learning, and today it's something I spend time doing every single day. And I track how much time I spend learning. I do that through podcast apps and my Audible. So since I got into business, I've spent about 2 months, according to those accounts, about 1,450 hours on podcast apps or reading books, listening to books. That's about the equivalent of 208 books, 40 books a year. I guarantee you, if you plug into learning like that and do it on a consistent basis, after 6 months of doing that, you're going to wake up a totally different person. Not fun for a lot of people. It takes some discipline. Believe me, it's much easier for me to listen to music in the morning, but I know the payoff is
What time
just
do you sleep to wake up at 4 a.m. or 3:45?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What time do you have to sleep to wake up at 3:45 or 4 a.m.?
So I have another little hack around that. I have 2 little boys. The youngest is 1.5. He goes to bed at 7, and then the other one goes to bed at 8:30, and I'm going to bed with him a lot of the time.
Okay, good.
So normally sleeping by 9:30, I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just found I was young at one point, and I had my fair share of fun when I was young. Not a lot of good happens after 9 p.m. By going to bed early, I'm just blocking all of that unproductive time that's filled with temptation out of my life. If that makes sense. And then I'll explain to you exactly what my routine looks like. So it's up at the time I mentioned, drive to the gym, listen to an audiobook. I work out, get a pretty strenuous workout every single morning, 5 days a week. Then after the workout's done, sauna, I go in the cold tub. Not for everyone, not saying you should or shouldn't do that. I just find it's a powerful way to wake myself up. And then back in the car, drive home, another 15 minutes of listening to podcasts or audiobooks. That works for me. I love my routine. Like everything in that routine is non-negotiable. It happens every single day. It doesn't need to be that though. You just have a routine. If you have no routine, it's going to be very hard to compete in any industry you're in. And when it comes to routine too, I don't think mine starts super early because I need to get home for my kids. If you don't have kids, you can start that routine at 7 a.m. It's totally fine. The point is just to have a routine. The other big thing for myself when it comes to mindset is just changing your environment who you hang out with. It's really important. When I was younger, I hung out with people I went to school with. And naturally, it was a mixed bag of people, and I would end up mirroring their behavior, some good, some bad. When I got into this business, I had 2 mentors. One got into business 2-3 years before me. He sold 50 homes his first year. My next mentor got into business a year before me. He sold 51 homes. My first year in the business, I sold 52 homes. So success leaves clues. You tend to be the average of the people you're spending time with. For that reason, this sounds harsh, but I'm very choosy about who I spend my time with. Like if someone isn't where I want to be in the future, or they don't have the ability to add value to my life, I'm going to choose not to hang out with them. And I'm not saying I totally neglect old friends, but I really limit the amount of time I spend with them if they're not a value add to me. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about mindset, unless you guys have any other questions. But I promise you, if it's something you focus on and you make that your priority over sales, your sales are going to explode. So now we're going to talk about the booking appointments piece. So a lot of you guys have heard this, especially if you're with KW. 5 jobs as a realtor, everything outside of those 5 jobs does nothing to get you to where you want to go. 5 jobs are lead generation, lead follow-up, script and role play, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. I put at the bottom here, for new realtors, there are only 3 jobs. So when I came to Hamilton, like I said, I knew nobody. So I wasn't going on any appointments, and I had no contracts to negotiate because I had no clients. So my whole day was spent lead generating, following up with those leads, and scripting. I can tell you what I did when I came here. I probably do it a little bit differently today. But I was literally on the phone all day. When I mean all day, I would get to the office around 8:30. We'd script from 8:30 to 9. And then I'd be on the phone from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I know a lot of people aren't willing to do that, but for me, it was relatively easy. I was coming from a job I didn't really enjoy. I sat in a cubicle working for a large automotive company. And I had to sit there for 8 hours. So for me, it was the same thing. I didn't use a telephone in my old job, but I just put in 8-9 hour days, and I would prospect for buyers and sellers all day long. Once I sourced a lead, that lead would go into my database. I would set a task, follow up with that lead relentlessly until they were ready to do something. Biggest thing I think I did that not a lot of people do, I think people intend on doing it, but they don't actually do it, was practicing my script. So it's something I did every single day. When I first got started, I would have a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, and a handful of objections. So all the objections I find are the same. there are maybe 5 objections we face, and I would write those out for 30 days straight. So my listing presentation, it's part of me now. It's in my soul. I could leave for 5 years, come back, and I would still know the listing presentation verbatim. The same thing goes with all of my objection rules. It's so simple just to block half an hour and write that out. I asked one of the realtors that I work with here, how long would it take you to write out your listing presentation daily? He said half an hour. And I said, if you were my employee, how much would I have to pay you to write that listing presentation out for half an hour a day, 5 days a week? His answer was something like $30. So we did some math. $30, 5 days a week, times, say he works 48 weeks a year, $7,200. Then I did some more math based on average sale price, GCI today. But my point to him was me writing it out allowed me to make 180 grand my first year in the business after splits in a market where my average sale price was 350K. And you're saying you'll do that work for 7,200, but you have the ability to make 200, even more today. So why aren't you doing it? It's incredibly powerful. If you guys are looking to learn more on this topic, the absolute best book I've ever read on prospecting and following up, it's called Fanatical Prospecting. I just gave it another read a couple weeks ago. It's really helpful with knowing the mindset behind this, but ultimately, the way I look at it, our business is super simple. I can go outside, and if I walk outside the doors, I'm going to see a lot of homes. People own those homes. I know in the neighborhood where I am right now, 5 to 6% of those homes are going to change hands every single year. There are 2 sides to a transaction, buy and a sell. I know about 12% of the population is going to do something in real estate. I just need to put myself in front of those people. And when I put myself in front of those people, I need to have the ability to convince them to work with me versus someone else. Pretty simple task. Now, the reason I say that, a lot of people think I'm a cold call guy. I'm really not. I'm a talk to people guy. To me, I don't think it matters how you talk to people. You could go stand up in front of a Home Depot and hand out business cards and ask people if they wanted to buy or sell. I'm sure a lot of people going in and out of Home Depot have plans to buy or sell real estate. You can go bang on doors. You can do open houses. I don't really think it matters what you do as long as it's something you're going to somewhat enjoy and stick to over a long period of time. But every transaction happens with another human being. And our job as realtors is to speak to as many human beings as possible and know what to say to them. And one way we get good at knowing what to say to other people is by speaking to a lot of them. My coach, when I first got in the business, she said, all this scripting stuff is amazing, Mike. You should work on it. But you're going to learn a lot more and get where you're going a lot faster if you just go bang on 1,000 doors versus read 10 sales books. I think action trumps absolutely everything. And why I succeeded so quickly in the beginning was because I took more action than anyone else around me. So next thing I want to talk to you guys about, I don't know if you guys do this. Raise your hand if you do this. So when I come into the office every day, I have an objective for the day and I write that objective down. My sole purpose for being in this office today is to book one appointment. One of my favorite realtors in the world is Jeff Glover. We have this saying on our wall: if you didn't book an appointment today, seriously, what did you accomplish? That's the only reason we exist in this business. It doesn't matter about creating business cards, creating flyers, posting on social media. It doesn't matter about anything other than booking an appointment. If I didn't book an appointment today, what a waste of time. There are a million other things I could be doing with my life, like hanging out with my wife, hanging out with my kids, hanging out with friends, family, doing things I enjoy outside of work. If I come here and I don't book an appointment, what a waste of 8 hours of my life. So I have that message to myself written in front of me every single day. Your sole purpose today is to book an appointment. When I first got in the business, my wife was my girlfriend. There were no kids. And I would play games with myself or insert pain into my life, if that makes sense. So 8-hour day to book an appointment. I use this concept. It's called Parkinson's law. So work expands the time allotted to it. If you have 8 hours to book an appointment, you're probably going to book that appointment. If you give yourself 2 days to book an appointment, it's probably going to take 2 days. If you're in your mind, you give yourself a week and you're satisfied with one appointment a week, it's probably going to take you the whole week. So to ensure I was using this Parkinson's law to the best of my ability, I would give myself a day. That's what my coach told me. I want an appointment every day. And the pain would come in when I didn't book that appointment. So if the appointment wasn't booked within the 8-hour window, I would have to stay at the office until I was on the Mojo triple line dialer. That thing, I think, shuts down at 8, 9 o'clock. So I'd have to stay there for the duration of that time. And the only way I could go home, rather, is if the clock hit 8 or 9, whatever time it was, or I booked an appointment. Hard to do that today because I have kids, but that's how I started. I think we need to hold ourselves to a really high standard. I think you guys would be amazed if you could hear the way I speak to myself when I don't do what I set out to do. Standards are so important. You're always going to get your standard. If my standard in business is to sell 12 homes a year, I'm probably going to sell 12 or less. If my standard is to sell 30 homes a year, I will sell 30 or less. So I think because of the environment I entered and the people I was around, the standard was 50. And that's the only reason that happened. And like I said, you are the average people you hang out with. So if you're hanging out with people in your brokerage or in your office and all of them are producing 6 deals a year, you're probably doing the exact same thing. If everyone you're hanging out with is on the phone prospecting all day, every day, and their average level of production is 15 deals, you're probably 50. If you're on a little Marine squad where everyone cranks 40, you're probably doing 40 also. So be very mindful of who you hang out with when you're at work. Next thing, so someone mentioned they want to know about follow-up. So I'll tell you guys exactly what I do when it comes to follow-up. So we use Follow-Up Boss. My commitment is that I also mentioned I don't use Mojo anymore. I built my database. Yeah, am I still feeding it on a regular basis? Absolutely. But I'm not actively prospecting. The majority of my time is spent following up with people in the database. So my commitment to myself is that I will make 100 dials into the database every day. I don't speak to 100 people. I make 100 calls into the database every single day. Normally that's going to yield, I know it always yields at least one appointment. I don't remember the last day I didn't book an appointment in a day. But sometimes it can be 2, sometimes it can be 4. Depends on the day. What I'm saying to people when I call them, is say it's someone that I've never met before. I'm looking to build rapport with them. Hassan, are you still here? Jamil or Brian?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can we role play it a little bit?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So a lot of the time I've never even spoken to these people in my life. They could be a lead that an agent that used to be on our team called 6 months ago. They're in the database. I'm just calling them. So ring.
Hello.
Hi, would Brian be there, please?
Yep, speaking.
Hey, Brian, it's Mike calling from Keller Williams Real Estate. I spoke to you 3 months ago. You asked me to give you a call today, so that's what I'm doing.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate you staying in touch, Mike.
Yeah. So when I spoke to you a few months ago, you mentioned to me that you're planning on selling your home this fall. Is it still in your plans?
It's kind of up in the air a little bit. A few things have changed, but for the most part, yeah.
Okay. And if you were to move, where would you go?
Oh, geez, probably somewhere in the country, to be honest with you.
In the country? Okay. And what do you think needs to happen in order for you to make that move?
Got to make some more money.
Make some more money? Okay. Do you think it's possible that money you're looking to make is in your house in the form of equity?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a number in mind that you're looking to get for your house?
If we could get 1.24, I'd be pretty happy.
1.24?
1.2.
1.2. Okay. So guys, I'm going to start qualifying him right now. I went fishing. He bit on the hook. I'm going to start qualifying him. So Brian, let me take a look here. So I'm just going to pull up my system and get a sense of what homes in your area are trading for. Would you mind sharing with me some details on the house?
We just fully renovated everything, main floor, second floor, new kitchen, did a little bit of landscaping.
Okay.
We're at about 2,000 square feet.
Okay. And what style of house is it? Is it bungalow, back split, two-story?
Just a generic 2-story.
Two-story, okay. All right. And basement, is it finished, unfinished?
Fully finished.
Fully finished, okay. And I'm going to ask some some details about the house because I want to paint a picture in my head as to what it looks like. So Brian, you mentioned you did the kitchen. How long ago was it that you did the kitchen?
Legit 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Okay, so very fresh. And
Yeah,
then
extremely.
what about the rest of the house? Say the floors. Are they carpet, tile, laminate, hardwood?
All engineered hardwood.
Okay, perfect. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how updated would you say the house is overall?
85%.
85%, okay. So at this point, I have some details on the house. I'll go in a matrix as he's talking to me, take a look and see what homes in the area are selling for. So Brian, I took a look here. I see one, looks like it's a couple blocks over from you. It sold for 1 million. Or what did you say you want? You want 1.2? It sold for 1,100,000. Updated just like yours, had the same number of bedrooms and baths as yours. Looks like it's similar a lot to yours. If you were to get that kind of price, is that something you'd be satisfied with?
To be honest with you, Mike, no. I mean, it's things are tight enough with properties, investment stuff, whatever already. It would have to be at that 1.2 mark. I mean, anything lower than that, I know we don't need to sell.
Okay.
But yeah, we got to have that 1.2.
Okay. Then at this point, I'll keep looking. If I think it's a reasonable price, I'm just going to assume he wants to meet with me. So say 1.2 wasn't a possibility, but 1.2 is not a possibility. I think 1,175,000 is. I'm going to book that in. Every seller or buyer says they want something. A lot of times it's just not true. Like is 1,175,000 really going to ruin his life and make him not want to sell? My guess it's not.
No. I feel like when it comes to jumping over something to pick up 25K, there's always a little bit of wiggle room somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's like the reason I know it's BS is if he waits for his house to be worth 1.2, everything else he's going to want to buy something after. What he's going to buy is more expensive also. So he's just procrastinating. That's an objection I'm going to ignore, and I'm going to book him into an appointment. I ignore a lot of objections. If I don't feel as though the objection is worth my time, I'm not going to give it my time. So I'll say something like this. So say I think it's 1,175,000. I think I'll say, Brian, I think that's within reach. I mean, the comp I'm looking at here sold 3 months ago, and I know the market's come up about 5% since that time. I'm going to be available to meet with you. I mean, I'm away. I'm visiting my folks in Nova Scotia. It's the way I build rapport. Hamilton's littered with Nova Scotians. I tell everyone where I'm from. The second I find out someone's in Nova Scotia, it's my business. So say I'm literally like, I've been saying that to everyone for the past couple of weeks. I just signed a Nova Scotian last week. I'm going to sign another Nova Scotian today. They're everywhere. So if you can find some, I use my kids a lot too to build rapport. If it's an older person, they have grandkids, I will use my parents and my kids to build rapport. So Brian, I think that sounds like it's within reach. The market's come up, things have really picked up. What I'm going to do is book you in for when I get back from Nova Scotia. So I'm back on the 8th. Are you free on the 11th? If I was to come over, say around noon?
Yeah, we can make noon work. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Do you have a calendar you could write that in?
Yeah, let me just pencil that in here. Okay. Yep. We're all good.
Okay. The reason I ask him to write it down, because I know if he doesn't write it down, he's going to forget, and it increases the likelihood of him no showing. And I'll leave you with my phone number. So just so you remember, my name is Mike Johnson. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate. My phone number is 226-792-6385.
Perfect.
Ignore the objections if they don't deserve your attention, and just book the appointment. The main reason I didn't book a lot of appointments when I first got started is because I didn't ask for the appointment. Now I don't even ask, can I come see you? So what I'm going to do is come over and see you. I'd love to put a face to the name and give you value on the house so you can determine whether or not it's worthwhile for you and your family. I can do that Friday the 11th. What time on Friday the 11th are you available? But if you can get to a point where you're just assuming they're going to meet you for an appointment, when you go on that appointment, assume they're going to work with you. It doesn't even cross my mind that they're not going to work. Literally one of the first things out of my mouth when I'm on an appointment, I'll go through, I have my spiel at the beginning of the appointments. We're going to review I got it from Bold. Diana Kakowska, we're going to review your motivation to sell your house, decide on price deposit to sell. I'm going to answer any questions you may have and decide today if I want to take your listing and if you want to list your home with me. By the way, when would you be prepared, Brian, for me to list your home? If I was to give you 2 weeks, would that give you enough time? That would bring us to the 9th.
I mean, we definitely have to do some decluttering and stuff and whatnot, but I think it might, to be honest with you, it just comes down to the price wise. So I mean, I think if we can put together like a game plan and do all that, it's I don't see any reason why we can't get it going.
Okay, so if you're satisfied with the game plan and you deem that thing is bulletproof, and you're satisfied with the price, obviously, what if I was to have your house up on the market on the 16th? That work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking advantage of the current market right now. Yeah.
So how sweet is that? I'm in like the first 5 minutes of the appointment, and he's just confirmed with me that he's allowing me to list his house on the 16th. In the past, I would go through my whole spiel and wouldn't soft close like that at all. And I'd be blind. By the end of this appointment, I wonder if this person's going to work. I wonder if they're not going to work. But I've gained the ability to feel someone out over the appointment. One way I feel them out is to soft close them very early on. Hey, Brian, would it be okay with you if I put your house up on the market on the 16th? He's like, oh, absolutely not. I know I have some objections to overcome. If he says what he just said, I know that's my business. I'm going to close him by the end of the appointment. It lets me know where I stand. Now, the mindset around the appointments, I know I've worked with a ton of realtors. A lot of people that I've worked with they're new to the business. They're learning everything from scratch. And they get down on themselves or disappointed when they make 50 calls in a day and they get nothing out of it. The way I describe it to them, it's almost like my database is a deck of cards. And it's within that deck are people that are motivated and not motivated. My job is to sort the cards. That's all I'm doing all day. I'm a grossly overpaid card sorter. And every call runs the same way. So I'm looking for 3 things. Motivation. Is there any motivation to sell? There's no motivation. I'm off the call incredibly quick. Timeline. Do they want to sell within the next 6 months? And then price. So Brian said, I want to sell my house, but I'm only willing to sell it if I can get 1.4. And the the highest sale price in the neighborhood was 1,175,000. I'm not going to go meet him.
Hmm.
Once those three things line up, motivation, timeline, price, I'm going to take time out of my day to go meet that person. That's all I'm looking for every call. Three things: motivation, timeline, price. If any of those don't line up, I don't go on the appointment. A lot of people will do the reach appointment. They want a lot for their house. I'm going to go meet with them anyway. It's an absolute confidence killer going on appointments with people that aren't qualified. It's not that your skills are weak and you can't convert. It's possible that you're going to meet with people that aren't qualified, that don't truly have a need to make a move. Someone else asked, how do I follow up? So one thing, pretty relentless with the database. If someone tells me we're thinking about selling in 3 months, I'm going to call them probably in 2 weeks. And I will continue to call them until they're ready. What I find, if you stick to them like white on rice and you call them more than anyone else, not in a pushy way, but in a way in which you build a relationship with that person over time, you're going to build familiarity. They're going to know who you are. And through that process, you're going to build rapport with them. And by the time they're actually ready to sell in 3 months, there's going to be no question in their mind as to whether or not they're going to work with you. I'm heavy call volume. And I ask for what I want every single call, given the three things line up. If timeline, price, and motivation are there, I'm inviting myself to people's homes. I have a block open on Thursday at 3 p.m. Does that work for you? Oh, no, that doesn't work. You have a doctor's appointment that day? Okay, how about we do Tuesday at 1 p.m.? Oh, no, they realize pretty quick that I'm not going away. They need to tell me to go away if they want me to go away. No, Tuesday at 2 doesn't work? Okay, well, that's fantastic. I'm available Friday at 3. Would you be able to carve out 20 minutes time for me Friday at 3? And I'll just keep going until they say, Mike, we're not ready yet. Okay, well, when do you think you'll be ready? We don't know, Mike. And then I'll give them options. Do you think you'll be ready to have a serious look at this in a month? No, wait, okay. What about 2 months? And if I'm sure you guys have these people in your database that always push you off. What I do, I'll call them out on that behavior. To say, Brian, I've noticed that I've been calling you for the last 2 years. Every time I call you, you tell me you're to call you back in 2 months. You tell me you're going to be ready to sell it in 2 months. When I call you in 2 months, this time, can you please just let me come see your house so I can put a face to the name and let you know what the home is worth so you can decide whether or not this is the best thing for you and your family? Yeah, Mike, of course. Counterfeit, yes. They want to get me off the phone. Brian, I'm gonna take notes on this. If you need to take a note on this for you to remember, please do so. I'm just writing down here that you promised I could come over in 2 months when I call next time. That sound fair?
So,
And then when I call them, I'll remind them of that. Most people don't want to break promise, and they'll let you come over. What were you going to say?
so when it comes to getting these appointments, as much as obviously you want them to be a qualified listing appointment, it sounds like the majority of them are also based around just trying to put a face to the name, build rapport, and just get in front of them to further build that relationship.
I don't normally do CMAs. So I'm feeling them out and guiding them to the market. So when I call you in 2 months and you invite me over, I'll ask you questions like, so are you finally ready to sell your house? What's stopping you from selling your house? When I come over, if everything sounds satisfactory to you and you're happy with the price and you think I can do a good job of selling your house, will you be ready to set a date for me to put the home on the market? If they say yes to something like that, I know they're good to go. So I don't really ever do CMAs.
Yeah, it can definitely be a time killer for sure.
Yeah. I'll follow up with the person relentlessly until they're ready to do something, and then go meet with them. And the goal is always to close the business on the first meeting. In the event that I don't close it on the first meeting, I do is call it a be-back appointment. So I never want to leave an appointment without paperwork signed or without the be-back. So I don't want to be in a position where, thanks for your time today, Brian. Brian says, call me back in 3 weeks. I know that's a counterfeit. Yes, I'm going to call him back in 3 weeks, and he's never going to pick my phone up again. So rather than that, if Brian doesn't agree to sign paperwork with me, I will set a meeting to come back and see him in 3 weeks. I know a lot of the time he's going to want to cancel that meeting. So Brian, can you make a commitment to me that on August 15th at 2 p.m. can actually meet and discuss this? Can you make a commitment to me that you're not going to cancel our meeting? They say yes, pretty much every time. 95% of the time, a human being doesn't want to break a promise, so they don't cancel the meeting.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, that's awesome. And I apologize. For some reason, when I go to put my camera on, it shows that it's on, and then as soon as I get out of the setting and go back to the meeting, the camera turns off. So I know how annoying it is to talk to a black screen. So
I'm used to it. I'm so used to it.
What about Mike? Like, I mean, like how about this? How many people do you have in your database that you are feeding yourself from?
Probably have 4,500.
Okay, it's a lot more than mine. Okay. So what if it comes up that you're calling up Kate and Sandy, and they are, you met them through, mutual friend, no plans of selling, but they want to stay in contact with you, and command or follow-up boss has just reminded you that, hey, it's time for a quarterly call. Again, they've got no plans on selling. They just moved into the area 5 years ago, but you just want to stay in touch with them. What is your call looking like to stay in touch? Because you're not necessarily looking for an appointment if you know they're not going anywhere. But like, what does that call look like? I find a lot of my calls recently are based around that type of topic.
Yeah. So we have a plan for that. I don't call any of my people ever. I text them. The reason the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated. I hate when salespeople call me. If someone called me my car guy called me right now, honestly, in the back of my head, I'd be thinking, what the fuck do you want? Like, could you not just text me? I'm busy. I'm like, I always think about it. When someone calls you, or when I call someone, I don't know what they're doing. What I do know for a fact is that I'm interrupting their day.
Yeah.
So in my life, I'm super busy. I could be cleaning a diaper with shit all over my hands. Like, just shoot me a text. I don't want your phone. I assume my clients think the same way, so I shoot them a text, and it's scripted. So our touch program, something like this. So we do 2 client events this year. One varies. This year in the fall, we're doing a family photo thing. There'll be food trucks. Come get your photo taken with the scarecrow on some hay with pumpkins and whatnot. And then our big one is in April. We do Blue Jays games. So this year we had 300 of our clients go to a Blue Jays game. We intentionally do it in April because we can start making the text messages and the calls in February. What's the best time of year to sell a house? When do most transactions happen? April, May, June. So we want to touch them before that. And it's a simple text message. So, hey, Mike, it's Mike. I wanted to thank you for supporting my business and thank you for your continued referrals. As a way to thank you, I'd like to invite you and your wife, for you and your kids, to Jay's game on April 15th. So every time I reach out to them, I'm thanking them for their referrals, even if they've never given me a referral before, because that trains them to give me referrals.
Are you sending these text messages out through Twilio or through your personal number?
Personal.
Okay. And do you use BombBomb by chance?
I don't know, which
Gotcha.
doesn't mean it's not good. I should be using it.
Yeah, I do find the video GIF and text message goes a long way, but regardless. Now, what about the objection, Mike, of, shouldn't you be calling them back even though they're not looking to sell? You should be calling back, asking for the referral, and staying in touch that way, as opposed to just inviting them out, and not staying top of mind when it comes to referrals as well.
My experience, I was the most transactional. Brian, was extremely transactional when I got in the business. I would meet someone, get the listing signed, sell their house, never talk to them again. Terrible way to run a business. I've since changed. I find just reminding them that I'm in the business and reminding them that I want referrals when they have them goes a long way, because it's not just that one touch. So we're 2 client events a year. I drop off gifts, Pop Guy gifts to all these people twice a year. We have 24 emails that go out to them. They get a text message from me 4 times a year. Anyone that's bought with us gets a CMA mailed to them every year on the date that they bought the house. They all get a birthday card every single year. And then they get 6 pieces of direct mail. It's like they're not forgetting about me. And in the direct mail, there's a call to action.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Like the machine is running a lot of it. I just show up and make the calls or texts 4 times a year. But the reason I said that, so highly transactional, obviously didn't know anybody when I got here. Today, our team's business is about 60% repeat referral. And it's a result of that system. 2 client events, 2 pop-by gifts, 24 emails, 4 calls or texts, CMA, birthday card, and direct mail.
And that they're strictly for past clients?
Past clients and Sphere.
Gotcha. Okay.
It costs quite a bit to send direct mail. I think it's $1.50 or $2 per piece of mail.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's like that goes to my database, it goes to Sandy's database. Anyone that's like, if someone joins us tomorrow and they've never sold a house in their life, I'm not going to pay $2 for a piece of direct mail and send it to them. But if they've proven to me that they can go fish, and say in year 1, they do 15 ends, 20 ends, 30 ends, I'm going to start in my head and think this person knows what they're doing. They know how to generate business. I'm going to start mailing their Sphere and past clients. We don't need to go deep into this. It's just something I think about a lot. How do you really crush it in this business? I call it 3 R's: be resourceful, be resilient, be relentless. What's resourceful mean? I think this one too. Like, you could pick me up and throw me in some random town in Ontario that I've never heard of. I'm going to figure it out. I ask myself that when I interview realtors to become part of this team. First question I ask myself is, will this guy or gal succeed without me? Resilience, really hard business, obviously. Something like 85% of the people that get in, get out after 18 months. You need to be able to get kicked in the teeth over and over and over again, and get up and keep going. That's why I'm so diligent about my routine in the morning. I want to butcher myself in the morning, like self-imposed. I want to put self-imposed pain in my life, so when I experience pain in the real world, it doesn't hurt as much. Let's not sugarcoat it. Life for realtors has been pretty hard in the last 12 months. in my world, what that means is some people decide, hey, Mike, I love you, but I don't want to work here anymore. Hey, Mike, I love you, but I'm going to get out of the business. Because I focus so much on disciplining myself, I am generally unfazed by that. Transaction volumes in our city have come down 35%. Whatever. I had a building, Brian, I was actually talking to Ian about this morning, about you too. I had my own nightmare building in Hamilton, falling out with a partner, absolute disaster. Had to get lawyers involved, way over budget, finally finished the building. A week after the building was finished, we were ready to refinance it. I think there's probably have $1 million in this building at this point, me and a couple partners. The thing caught on fire. So I'm sleeping at midnight, get a call. Hey, it's Hamilton police. Your building's on fire. Okay, great. Now the money tied up for the next year and we're dealing with insurance. But because I'm so hard on myself, I really don't care. Yeah, is it unfortunate? Absolutely. But I'm going to keep going. And then relentless. You get out what you put in. The job is not to sell homes. The job is to prospect for buyers and sellers. Put yourself in a position where those buyers and sellers want to work with you versus other people in our industry. So I literally spend all my day doing just that. Everything outside of that is noise, and I don't refuse to do it. Most of you guys have heard this before. Gary Keller says this a lot. The path is in the math. Pretty powerful to know your math. So I know how many people I need to dial in the database in order to spit out an appointment, how many appointments I need to go on in order to sign a listing, how many listings I need in order to sell a house. And I reverse engineer that based on my goals. I can do the same thing if I was still prospecting. I know how many people I need to speak to in order to book an appointment, how many appointments I need, and so on. So I'm working off a plan. Everyone has goals. Literally everyone on this call has goals. Not everyone on this call. In fact, most people on this call are not going to hit their goals based on the stats. Most people don't hit their goals. So it can't be the goal that causes people to succeed or not succeed. I would argue it's having a plan based on math and sticking to that plan. I wanted to share these with you guys today. So, like I mentioned, when I get objections, I try and ignore them if I can. And if I can't, I have simple ways to overcome them that seem to work the majority of the time. So I get this one a lot. I need more time. What I use when I hear I need more time, I call it timeline analysis. So I'll ask, Brian, when do you actually want to move? Say he says January. Okay, fantastic. Do you understand the process and timelines associated with selling a house? They say no. Is it okay if I explain to you? So if I was to meet you tomorrow, I'm not going to list your house the day after tomorrow. Normally, the process of putting your house up on the market is going to take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. So we're end of July right now. You're likely not going to market till, say, August 31st. Well, the average days on market in our city is about 30 days. So your house won't be sold until the end of September. And attached to every sale is a closing period. Closing period I'm seeing now is anywhere from 2 months to 6 months. End of September, October, November, December, January, possibly February and March. Brian, we have clients that sold their house a month, 2 months ago, and they're not moving until next year. So knowing how long it takes, don't you think it's important that we meet? And then just book them in. I need to think about it. Say the same, pretty much the same thing every single time. How about we meet? I provide you with a value on your house. and provide you with a roadmap so you actually have something to think about. And then book them in. This one I get a lot. In Hamilton, there are a lot of decrepit homes. And when someone lives in a decrepit home, they tend to be embarrassed of that home. And they don't want you to see it. So I say the same thing here every single time. I try and relate to them. So, Mike, I need to clean up. There's so much to do around the house before I can have people in. I say, Sally, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the one buying your house. And I understand that the house isn't to your standards right now. But I'd like to share something with you. My house isn't to my standards right now either. I have 2 little boys, and every single day they tear my house to pieces. I guarantee you my house is messier than your house is right now. No, but I need to fix some things and paint some things. Sally, if I come over and you tell me what you're planning on doing with the house, it's going to paint a pretty clear picture for me in my mind. There'll be absolutely no judgment from me. So how about Thursday at 3? And I'll just book them in. I won't allow any of these little objections to be a reason for me not to meet with them. I think a lot of realtors, they get one objection, they just stop. I need more time. Okay, have more time. When can I call you back? I need to fix my house. Okay, I'll call you back when your house is fixed. I need to think about it. Okay, I'll call you back when you're done thinking about it. But you're exposing yourself to risk, because if you're doing that and I'm pushing for the appointment right away, I'm going to go get that signed. And you're going to be waiting to call them back. When you call them back, Sally's going to tell you, sorry, I already signed paperwork with Mike. This piece is very important. When I book an appointment, like I said, I don't want to go to any appointment that's not qualified. I ask them the same questions every single time. I have them confirm the address. I go from easy or non-intrusive questions down to difficult questions. How many bedrooms is the home? How many bathrooms? On a scale of 1 to 10, how updated is it? How updated is the home? I'll ask them, are they interviewing other realtors? In a perfect yet realistic world, how much do you want to sell your house for? When do you actually want to move? And then I'll go deeper. So would it be, given you want to move in November, when I come over and meet with you, are you prepared to put your house up on the market? No, I don't want to do that, Mike. Not right away. Okay, well, I wasn't thinking right away. I would never come meet with you and put your house up on the market the next day. Normally it takes anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. Do you think in a month from today, you'd be prepared to put your house up on the market? And then last question I asked them is, if you're satisfied with the price and you think I'm the best person for the job, will you be ready to sign paperwork when I meet with you on Friday at 2? They 9 times out of 10 say no to this, and I'm fine with that. The reason I asked them that last question is so they're prepared for me to come over with paperwork. I don't want to blindside them. And then finally, something I think is super important, drivers of GCI. How do we make more money? There are 3 ways that I know of. Maybe there are more, but 3 that I know of. So increase your average sale price, increase your commission percentage. Our team, we sign the majority of our listings at 6%. So we do 3 and 3. The reason we do that is to incentivize realtors in the city to want to sell our listings versus the listings of other people. I know if you guys think in your minds you're going to pay more money, like it or not, maybe some of you disagree with this, but I know a lot of you guys will pass that cost along to your clients for a bigger paycheck. For that reason, we list, say, 90% of our listings at offering out 3%. And then finally, increase the number of clients you have. It's a contact sport. The more people you speak to, the more money you're going to make, given you have confidence, competence, and you ask for the appointment and the business. Fun little exercise. Anyone want to see how we can not easily grow our businesses 200%? Anyone? Does anyone think Mike is full of shit? And there's no way this idiot can help me grow my business 200%. A couple people want it. Okay, I'm going to go through it with a couple of you. So this is based on math. I'm a big math guy. I think numbers, they never lie. And the numbers I'm about to show you are going to show you that it's very possible to grow your business 2% or more than that if you so choose. So here we go. Can all you guys see this? So these are the main drivers of any business. And I tweaked this for our business in particular. So every transaction starts with a contact. You speak to someone. That leads to a conversation. The majority of the conversations we have will not be meaningful in the sense that the person won't have a need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Of the meaningful conversations we have, some of them will lead to an appointment. Some of those appointments we set will no-show us. I've been no-showed so many times. Some of the appointments that we attend will lead to listings and buyers signed, others will not. Some of the listings and buyers signed will lead to sales, buy-side sales, sell-side sales. Of those sales, we will get a commission. So what this is showing you, I know there are a lot of numbers here, but it's two scenarios. So we'll say this is me. In my business, I speak to, it's 200 people a week, 48 weeks a year, 9,600 people. Rather than speaking to 9,600 people, I'm feeling motivated. It's December. I'm setting my goals for 2024. Mike, you're going to crush it this year. You're going to increase your outbound contacts by 10%. Meaning, instead of talking to 9,600 people, I'm going to speak to 10,560 people over the course of 2024. Meaningful conversations, it's hard to change that ratio. People have needs or they don't. Appointment set. I'm going to take that. So of the 288 people I speak to that have a real estate need, I'm booking 10% in. So about 29. Rather than 10%, I'm going to work on my skills around everything we discussed today. I'm going to take my conversion 10% to 13. Appointment shows, I'm going to really focus on pre-qualifying people to make sure the people I'm meeting with actually show up and have a need. So appointment shows, the people that actually attend my appointments, I'm going to take it from 80% to 85. I am really going to work on my conversion. So in 2023, my conversion at the listing table was 50%. I'm going to work on my scripts. Like I said earlier, I'm going to write those scripts out for a month, every single day. Then I'm going to find a role play partner and practice every day. I'm going to take my conversion from 50% to 70%. I'm really going to focus on scripting around price reductions and pricing homes properly. So the percentage of my listings that actually sell, it's going to go from 80% in 2023 to 90%. And then I'm really going to focus on scripting around commission. So I'm going to reach out to Mike. I'm either going to join his team or give him a call or listen to his podcast. I'm going to figure out how this guy signs all his listings at 6%. I'm sick of getting paid 2% per listing. I want 3 like Mike gets paid. So I'm going to take my commission. Average sale price in Hamilton right now, $750,000. I'm going to take it from 2. So you know what? I don't even need to get paid what Mike gets paid. I'd be happy getting paid 2.5% to 2.5%. These small changes, 10% increase in contacts, 3% increase in appointment set, 5% increase in appointment shows, 20% increase at the listing table, 10% increase in the number of listings sold versus the number you take. And then you focus on your scripts around commission. And you can do that both on the buy and sell side. We have an agent on our team that so average commission in our city is 2%. He just bought, or his clients bought a listing that was listed at 2%. He asked for 3, and they gave him 3 simply because he asked. So we're going to take average commission from 2 to 2.5%. Mike in 2023 makes 138 grand. Mike in 2024 makes 400,000. Tiny incremental changes in the areas that actually drive business. I lied. It's not a 200% increase. It's 189%.
So you don't provide a commission menu, eh, Mike?
I don't, sorry, say that again.
You don't provide a commission menu, right? Some people do that. They provide
No.
0.5%, 5%, 6%. You don't do that, eh?
No, my whole script is focused around incentivizing realtors. So I find that we had the largest, one of the largest real estate team in the world operates in our city, Rob Golfi. If I go and speak to a client about how my marketing is better than Rob Golfi's marketing, I'm full of shit. That's just not true. He's got way more money behind him. So my marketing is probably very comparable to his. I don't think mine's better. I don't think his is likely better than ours either. But I can't say with certainty that my marketing is better than this person's marketing. So I don't even have that conversation. My whole script is around, there are 2 people we're selling your house to, buyers. Buyers come for the price. Lower we price the home, the more buyers will come. And realtors. Realtors come to earn a commission. The more commission we advertise, the more interest you'll have in realtors wanting to sell your house versus the other homes in your neighborhood. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what I explained to them, at some point in the future, we're going to receive an offer on your house. That offer is going to price, deposit, closing date, promise and conditions, commission. And we're going to do the math. Price less commission equals net to you. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you're good with that net number, your house is sold. If you're not good with that net number, there are 3 things that can happen, really. 1, I can use the higher commission to leverage a higher sale price. In the event that that doesn't work, commission has to come down. In the event that neither of those 2 things happen, I don't get to sell your house. And I'm in a position where I put thousands of dollars into the listing and I'm not going to get paid. There's 0 return on my investment. So do you understand how much control you have in this situation? And knowing that commission's negotiable up to the end of the transaction, why would we not list your house at 10% commission? With another person on our team, first time I've ever seen this one, it's a month ago, maybe they signed a listing at 7%. Like, what is commission really? Like, who says it needs to be 4? Who says it needs to be 5? It should be whatever you feel as though you're worth. On that particular day, the agent I work with felt as though they're worth 7%. All the power to them. It's about working smarter, not harder. But you need to believe it's going to benefit your clients. Like, if you think you're charging more and it's, oh, good for you, Mike, you're charging 6 points, keeping 3, that's great because it serves you in the sense it allows you to go on an extra vacation or it allows you to do something in your personal life. You're not going to be able to use that script, but you need to believe it's going to help your clients, that advertising more money and incentivizing buyer agents is going to help them make more money. Did I believe it in the beginning? No, but now I see it reflected on our sales to ask ratio. When I joined this team, our sales to ask ratio was on par with the market. And now we're always a couple percentage points ahead. So I'm either under listing the shit out of everything I have, or this is working. I don't think we're under listing everything. Dave.
Yeah. Oh, that was from a while ago, but I actually do it. That's so great. I'm just curious, how do you approach like a I literally just got texted this after an appointment yesterday. Hey, David, thanks for reaching out. I think two questions that have come up in my discussions with other people is one, is 5% negotiable? And two, well, that doesn't apply to this conversation. So is that the kind of thing that you would answer back on text, or would you call them, or would you want to do it in person?
On text, I always say the same thing. Best part about commission, it's totally flexible, and you get to decide when you sign the paperwork.
Okay.
And then I'll book you into an appointment. Are you available Friday at 2 so I can explain to you how commission works? Once I explain it to you, I'm going to get out of your way so you and your family can make the best decision for yourselves.
Totally. In this particular situation, her mom is a realtor, but she doesn't work in this market. Would you do anything to keep it the same?
No, same thing.
Cool.
I really believe in listing at higher commission rates.
Mm.
Even if I sell my own house, I offer out 3.
Have you ever had the situation where maybe you're talking about 5, like I do 5, and then somebody, you bring that up and somebody says, well, what if we did 5 and we offer them 2.75 and you take 2.5 or 2.25?
Rarely. I never divide the commission. I call it advertising a commission. So I don't say you're going to pay 6%.
Yeah.
I say my recommendation is to advertise 6%. My communication to the realtor on the other side would be like this. We're advertising 6%. We know that's an above average commission. As a result, we expect an above average result. I make it clear to them, if I don't get an above average result, I'm going to cut their commission. Or my seller is going to cut their commission. There's literally zero risk to the seller. You're just dangling a carrot in front of people. And if they perform, you give them the carrot. If they don't perform, you bring the commission back down to market. Which in your market, David's 2.5% of it.
Do you provide the staging for that as well? Just curious.
No.
No?
I look at that like have I paid for staging? Yeah, but it's not about that at all. It's about incentivizing realtors. It's got nothing to do with the service I'm giving them. That's the beauty of the script. I always think about it, like in my head, I think I'm not going to buy your groceries for you. I'm not going to make your car payment. Why the hell would I pay to stage your house?
Mm-hmm.
Just sorry, Mike, to follow up on that. If they did say, well, yeah, we'd like to advertise 3%, we'd like to, let's say, advertise better than average, but we'd prefer to offer 3% to them, but 2.5 to you. How would you handle that?
So I don't get that a whole lot unless you explain how commission works and divide it. Unless I say we're going to advertise 6 and I'm going to divide it up and I'm going to take 3 and the other side's going to take 3. If I said that, yeah, people would bring it up, but I call it advertise 6% commission. Most people never bring it up. And it's, David, let me ask you this. Knowing that commission's negotiable up until the end of the transaction, and that ultimately you're going to pay me what you feel I'm worth. When you have an offer and you do the math, price less commission. Why would you reduce my commission today and disincentivize me before I've even gone to work for you?
Totally. I love that. Thank you.
It's so silly. Like if they're not good with the net number, they're not gonna sign on the dotted line. Period. So advertise 50% of the value of your house. It doesn't really matter.
And have you had situations then where at the finish line they do want to take it down?
The sellers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they want to take it down, I'll always pull it from the buy side first. I'm not going to voluntarily reduce mine. I'll go to the other side and say, listen, David, we have a deal here. But there's a condition to it. So my seller needs you to reduce your commission by 0.5 point, which would bring you down to market average, 2.5%, the same thing everyone else in the city's paying. And we have a deal. Now, if David, you come back to me and you say, Mike, absolutely not. I'm not reducing my commission. Say, okay, no problem. What I will do is go back to my seller, sign it back. at 2.5% to you, it will hit your inbox and you're forced to present that to your clients. What kind of conversation are you going to have with your clients? You're going to tell your clients, hey, Mike cut my commission from 3 down to 2.5, which is the average. Sorry, guys, you can't buy this house. No. It always gets accepted. You'll be pissed at me, but it will get done.
I did not know that you could sign back commission like that. That's really cool. Thank you.
I don't know the rules around it. I'm not Rico and I've never worked there. I've done it many times. Yeah, I always do that.
Nice.
Yeah, but I don't know the rules. I assume there are no, like it's the seller's choice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's their house. If they're netting 650, but they want 655, and to get 655, they either need another $5,000 to sale price or $5,000 dock from commission. I don't think Rico would say to them, no, seller, you're not allowed to do that. It's not my choice. I want to sell the house. The extra $5,000 is not coming to me.
Man, that's awesome. This whole thing has been amazing. And I think that tip right there probably just made me a few $100,000 over the next bunch of years. Thank you.
A few $100,000. Just be careful. Realtor relationships are super important.
Totally.
Yeah. Try not to ruin them.
Yeah.
Mike, I see a hand.
Hey, Mike, first I want to say thanks so much for what you put on today. It was excellent.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to raise people's attention a little bit. Be careful with that signing of the commission back attached to an offer price. Check with Rico on it. I'm quite certain you're not supposed to negotiate your commissions as attached to an offer price. So just have a look at that. I remember getting one of my, broker record up here in Kitchener. I remember an agent getting into some hot water over it. So just have a look at it first.
I love that advice.
But everything, man, it was such a great show today. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah. So I'm using Mojo as of now. And so I'm just wondering, how many dials do I need to do to set an appointment? Because I haven't really had much luck setting appointments with it.
So I never viewed Mojo as a tool to set appointments. It was a tool I used to fill my database. So for me, I would speak to 120 people a day on Mojo because I had 8 hours. All I was doing was speaking to people. So normally be 120 people a day. Out of the 120 people, 3 would have a real estate need within the next year or 2, which qualified them to go on my database. I'd be looking to add a few people a day to the database. My coach says 20 people a week you should be adding to your database.
So really the goal is to set, get the foundation for a database and then use a database to generate the appointments. Is that what it is? Yeah.
From Mojo, so they're a needle in a haystack out in the community somewhere. Most don't have a need, some do. So for those 2, 3, whatever it is that have a need, put them in your database. And then once they're in the database, the goal is to build familiarity with them and follow up with them until they truly have a need. If you've called them and done a better job of building rapport with them than I have, likely the business will be yours and not mine. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Michael?
Yeah. Hey, Mike. We love what you're doing here. So this is really useful stuff. Actually, I was with Keller Williams too, and I think Jim Reitzel and Kevin were teaching this class. Great class with the commission. My question to you,
before I move on, I should give credit to them. I didn't create any script.
You have given
create it.
You have before. I was on the previous one on commission, and you mentioned them. So
they are
this was
amazing people.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know if there's anybody else doing that, actually. I think they're the only ones teaching out of all KW. I don't think there's another class. So yeah, by the way, anybody with Keller Williams, I think they're open only to Keller Williams agents because price fixing issues potentially. But yeah, go to get you in our office if you want to get that class. But my question to you was, you said you have 24 emails that you send to these leads and nurtures. What do those kind of look like? Market updates? What do you send?
So we send a newsletter once a month. Honestly, probably more than 24 that go out. There's a newsletter that goes out. We send our listings out to the database, and then we use ChatGPT a lot now. So you can go to ChatGPT and have the thing give you subject lines that are relevant today that will actually hook someone into wanting to open the email. So we do that, and they're kind of infotaining emails about the process of buying or selling real estate.
All right, that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mike, I've got a question. When calling or knocking or whatever, and the people that have been there for a long time tell you that they're leaving feet first, or they got to carry me out, or those types of we're never leaving objections. Like, how do you handle those ones?
I don't.
Just keep moving?
Yeah. I just hang up on to the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's really a numbers game. Like the more people I speak to, the more opportunities I'm going to get. And if I sense there's no need, I'm going to move on. So my script is like this. Hi, this is Mike calling from Keller Williams Real Estate.
Good afternoon.
So if you say good afternoon, I'll engage with you. I'm giving that silence was me giving you the opportunity to say you're not interested. So if you're not interested, I don't want to give you my whole spiel. Over a year, that's hours. It wouldn't be surprised if it's weeks of time of me giving my spiel to people that aren't interested.
And you'd be leaving that contact if they're not interested, right?
Still counted as a contact as long as I've told them I'm a realtor.
Mm-hmm. But they would be off of your database, I'm guessing, after that call.
Wouldn't go in it.
So that would be like a Warnock, Mojo. They wouldn't even make their way into my database. They would hang up on me.
Yeah.
Or just say they're not interested.
The challenge is I've been running like Facebook ads last year, and a lot of my database now is full of those ads, like the contacts from there.
Yeah.
Should I go through and just clean up whatever responses I have not received from those people if I haven't gotten a good turnout from them?
I think it's very tempting to buy internet leads. And I think there's a place for them. And I think you can build a great business with internet leads. But the conversion on internet leads is way lower than everyone thinks. Mm-hmm. We had this guy on our podcast. His claim to fame is he sold more homes from internet leads than any other team in the world. His name is Jeff Cohn. He's from Omaha. But his team are absolute beasts when it comes to converting internet leads. They convert at 2%. So nice. For every 100 internet leads, they'll get 2 deals out of it. And the average time to turn an internet lead over for him, it's something like 8 months. I know the first time I ever bought internet leads, I thought these are garbage. And I thought that a month after having internet leads. I didn't give it enough time. You need to relentlessly follow up with those leads over a 6-month, year-long process, or a year-long time frame, before you're actually going to get anything out of it.
Yeah. So just keep it in.
Yeah.
Because I do have their emails as well. So I can always, send them stuff for the time being as well.
Unfortunately, I thought that at one point, I thought, here we go. Internet leads are going to be that little magic pill for me that will make life easier and allow me to convert faster and more frequently. But you guys have a magic pill, let me know. I haven't found it.
So what method are you using right now to keep adding people to your database? Is it just referrals?
A lot of the business I have today comes from referrals. What I find, so we all lead generate which we should do. But say I'm selling my house. I'm not in the business. I own a house and I'm selling it. Likely that's the biggest thing that's happening in my world at that time. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes.
So what human beings do when it comes to the biggest things in their world is they share with everyone. Hey, Bahar, did you hear I'm selling my house? I'm so excited. We're moving to so-and-so place. Hey, Mike, I'm selling my house. I'm moving up north. It's going to be amazing. Hey, Robert, I'm selling my house. I'm moving up north. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
They're lead generating for us. And more often than not, through their conversations with others about their plans, they're going to come across someone else that's planning on doing the same thing. So what we run, we have a client care department. Whenever I sign a listing and it goes to client care, she's running, it's called the Promise Group. I don't know if you guys have heard it. So it's our commitment to you is to deliver a 10 out of 10 experience. The only way we're going to know we've delivered a 10 out of 10 experience is if you leave us a review and give us a referral. So is it okay with you if I check in throughout the process to ensure we're delivering a 10 out of 10 experience? And then we call them like every single week. We're asking for referrals while they're listed with us. And then after they're listed with us, client care will call them twice a year to continue asking for referrals. And we'll remind them, hey, Bahar, I know you committed to giving us a referral. If our service wasn't 10 out of 10, we haven't received the referral yet. I'm concerned that we didn't deliver a 10 out of 10 experience for you. What can we do better?
And what would they say? I mean,
I'm not on those calls. I don't really know, but I know we do generate quite a bit of business. There have been many times in my career where I would go to a listing appointment thinking I was going to sign one listing, and by the time it was done, I'd have 3 or 4.
yeah. And I know buyers do the same too. They're like, oh, did you hear we bought a house? We bought a house. They tend to advertise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's almost like that. What is it? I think they call it a reticular activator or something. It's like I buy a red Toyota Corolla,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I see red Toyota Corollas everywhere. I'm planning on selling my house. So all of a sudden I see all my friends and family and acquaintances that are also selling a house. All we have to do as realtors is ask during that pivotal time when they're planning on doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I'd say, where a lot come from. We also run events. So I think this weekend we're doing an event at Ribfest. We have one of those Traeger smokers. It's like $1,000. We go to Ribfest. People can register to win that smoker. So we did that last year. In one weekend, we had 600 people added to the database. We've done deals off that. We go to Hamilton's got a big marathon called Around the Bay. So we did Around the Bay last year. We got an expensive pair of headphones that runners would like to wear, and they could register to win the headphones. And then they just go into our touch program after that.
So that's a raffle prize that you offer while you're at the event, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Any other questions or good?
That was great. Thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So on the spreadsheet there, the outbound contacts, does that include your follow-up conversations that you're having, or that's just new conversations?
That is new conversations.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending.
Really appreciate it,
Shameless
Mike.
plug, guys. I am looking to grow this team. If you want what we discussed today all day, every day, we're looking to grow this business. I tell the people it can be like shooting fish in a barrel. If you grow yourself to a point where you have the opportunity to shoot fish in a barrel, we don't actually shoot anyone. But when you develop yourself, it can be very easy and very fruitful.
Incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. I know you're busy and you didn't have to come. I really appreciate it. There's going to be another one next month. So if you got value out of this one, I hope you come back next month.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Appreciate it, Mike.
All right,
Thanks a lot,
guys.
buddy.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day